Well, we got quite a bit done today. Considering the obstacles that we encountered with this, because the guy that sold Charlie this 351 apparently didn't know the difference between a 351 and his ass. But luckily he came to the right place. And I have a lot of Ford parts sitting around. And so we were able to put together as much as you see here. So all we got to do is bolt down this intake and put the accessory drives on. We got to swap out the thermostat housing there, and I'll have to tune on my Holly a bit because it's been a while since this one's been on anything. But other than that, it really should be, more or less just about ready to go in. Probably got an hour, maybe two, getting it all put together, timed up right, and probably an hour to go in and an hour's worth of tuning it. Then we got the Intrepid motor, all finally in one piece. Got to put the crank pulley on and put the belts on there, and then we should be able to just drop it in, and hopefully now it fires up. But I have other things on my mind. 98 ECK had asked quite some time ago for a video on how to clean a gas tank. And there was one other little tidbit that I wanted to throw in there as well. And then there's one other thing I got to do, but you'll have to see the next video for that. So, since I'm not set up to clean any of my gas tanks that I have to get cleaned this summer on the older stuff, the Model A and the Alice Chalmers and the 58 and the International, I just took an old Chevy gas tank that we had sitting around out, and I'll show you how to clean on this one. First thing you want to do, especially if you've got the gas tank out, is take your sending unit, your pickup tube and sending unit all out of there. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll show you the next step. So here we are. We got the sending unit out of there. I smell some nasty old gas, but that'll be fine. Since I don't want to have to use any new gas to clean out a gas tank I'm not going to use anyways. But you will need a coffee can of some kind. I always save my coffee cans, so I've got them. Always good for getting bolts and stuff, carrying bolts and stuff around. Then, you can go down to your local gravel suppliers, or if you hit the local gravel pit, or if you live like I do, out in the country, you've probably got a place where you can pick up a bunch of rocks. And what you're looking for is just rocks about yay big. Just grab a handful of them. Don't worry if you get too big, but you want to pick up a pretty good handful of rocks, all depending on how big your gas tank is and, how much nasty stuff you got in there. So, I'm going to get some rocks picked up and get this tub more or less filled. And then we're on to the next step. Like that. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to dump this pea gravel on in the tank. So, then what you want to do is you'll put that sending unit back in there. So I'll get that back in, and okay, we got that back on. Now the reason we put that back on is you want to cover up any hole. If like you have an older Ford tank, you want to cover your vent hole, cover your sending unit hole. If you got these tubes still on here, generally you don't have to worry about that. But you just want to keep it so that you're not sloshing gas all out of the tank. Then we got to find a place to put the camera, and then I'll show you what you do next. So, now you want to take your tank and you just shake like your life depends on it. And you get that pea gravel sloshing all over the place. And you just work it and work it. You'll hear that pea gravel coming loose. Now this tank has been sitting outside for quite some time. So it's probably going to be quite a bit of rust in it anyway. we will see what we drag out of it anyway. And you just keep working it like that. And you just keep working that tank to your heart's content. You want that pea gravel to roll side to side and all over the place. And that pea gravel is breaking up any rust or stuff that's stuck on the sides of the tanks. So you just keep working. Work it until you're all done, until you think you're done. So now, on this particular tank, it's pretty easy. You just tap that sending unit back out of there. Okay, we got that sending unit out. So now, we just got to get the gas and all the pea gravel drained out of there. Set the camera right here again. We're just going to take this tank, and this is old gas, you know, it's nothing special you want to do with it, then I'm just going to dump it. Work it like that. Now if you have troubles getting it out of that, all out of that hole, what you're going to want to do is undo your hose here. If I can get mine undone. Okay, so now we got all the hoses off, and we'll be able to make it a little easier to get this pea gravel out of here. And you can see all that orange, rusty, nasty stuff coming out of there. But so basically, you just want to keep working this gas tank then until you get all of the rattles out of it. Now you can use a vacuum cleaner for this as well. You can take a vacuum cleaner once you've got it all cleaned out, and you can vacuum the rocks out of there. So just another thing, but it's just very important that you make sure that you get all of the rocks out of the tank, or it's something that could be broken up and picked up in your fuel pickup, plug the lines later, and you got problems down the road. So it's just very important to get all of that out of there. So after you're done with that, it's kind of at your discretion. You can look in your tank and you can see if you've got a clean surface, you know, going on there. And if you don't, then you're probably going to want to repeat this again. And you're probably going to want to repeat the gravel procedure again, and just use some more gas and some more gravel and just keep working it until you get all that rust spots out. Now, I would recommend that if you've got a tank that you've had to clean rust out of, it's never a bad idea to use some soap and hot water. And just use pretty high concentration of soap and hot water and just flush it, and then you're going to have to take hot water, just plain hot water, and rinse and make sure that you've got all the soap out of the tank. And then when you're all done with that, it's never ever a bad idea to buy a liner. And you can buy liners that you basically mix it up, and it's kind of like an epoxy, and then you drop it in your tank, you pour it in your tank, and then you slosh your tank around until it covers all the sides, and it'll protect from the rust problem again. But that is how I clean a tank. Everybody's got a little bit different method, and there's always different ways to do things. But this method has always worked very well for me.